Okay guys, as you can see, here we are with Jade and we are at Thunder Mountain Harley Davidson. We are going to be doing demo days today and riding all of the 2024s if I can get on each one of them. So let's do some reviews and see what all the lineup is like. Okay, now we're gonna take out the 2024 Lowrider ST. It's gonna have the 117 engine in it, a slightly different tuning than the bikes that we've been on before, the Street Glide and the Road Glide. But where I'm definitely interested to see how this bike does with the Softail platform. And of course, after the ride, we'll get into the details on the bike in the rest of the video, but let's go ahead and knock out the ride and we'll go from here.
What are you doing?
I'm sorry?
Out causing trouble, huh?
Trying.
Right on. Did you sign up on the sheet?
Yes, yes, Jesse's got me.
Good.
Thank you. Speaking of which, guys, over here, Thunder Mountain Harley Davidson, thank you for doing this. If you guys need anybody here, my go-to is Jesse. He's an amazing salesperson, but he's just a really good guy. So if you're out this way, stop by, talk to Jesse. No pressure. He's here just to make life good. So let's start her up. Okay, definitely a lot more vibration. Feels really good. Let's get her out on the road. To get used to the placement of these pegs. Yep, okay. Here we go, guys. Much lighter bike. It's been a while since I've ridden a Softail. Pretty much since my 2020 Fat Bob, which I loved. Okay, so jumping off the Road Glide. Road Glide, I told you that it did not feel nearly as limbo as the Street Glide, but I was curious if that was just perception because of how far out that fairing was. If it just messed with my brain and my perceptions. But I can tell you riding this one, no, it is not. This is super nimble. The fairing is out there just as far out in front of you as it is on the Road Glide. It does not affect the nimbleness whatsoever. So yeah, no, this is great. Let's get going here. I'm gonna zip up the jacket real quick. Oh yeah, big difference between the 117s. The 117 that's on the touring bikes is totally different. This one is a lot more raw. Bear with me and we'll get going. I'm just trying to get my jacket zipper up. There we go. Okay, here we go. Yeah. There's a lot more of a heartbeat in this one. It is not unpleasant in any way. Just feels a lot meaner. And it is very responsive. So it really wants to lean in. The faster you go, the more it wants to do things. And the brakes are not nearly nearly as good as I saw from there. Sorry about that. Yeah, it takes a lot more effort and distance to brake this guy than it did the new touring bikes. So be aware. Now I know, I ride a Road King. All the touring bikes, the brakes are linked front and back, so that builds up a habit of braking a certain way. So let's try this one here, see what we got. Yeah, it still takes a lot more effort, so it is what it is. Even though the touring models are much heavier, seems like they have much better braking. Okay, you do feel and have to compensate for the unevenness in the road, the imperfections. Wind is present on your hands, not a big deal, but especially at the top of your hands. Chest wise, my chest doesn't have any push on it, but I do have some air going around my neck, but there's no push. I'd say the most noticeable bike so far out of the fairing model bikes was the Road Glide. The Road Glide has enough wind coming around it to give you some push on your body. The foot positioning is good in that the pegs are between my knee and my hip. So I got a good little triangle. It's great for, aggressive riding, but I do not like how far down the brake peg is. I'm sorry, the shifter peg. You have to point your toe at the ground in order to get underneath it, which I just don't feel is the most comfortable for me. Here we go. Okay. Now, at this speed, at highway speeds, I am feeling a lot of wind pushing on both of my ears. So each side of my helmet is getting some pressure, which is causing my head to want to turn left, right, left, right. I don't feel any turbulence over the top, but I definitely feel it on the sides of my helmet. Matter of fact, it makes you not want to push the bike to the higher speed limits. Oh, and that crosswind. Oh, that's definitely pushing on me. It's coming in from the right. And I don't know if it's enough to see on the camera, but I'm having to lean to the right in order to try to maintain a straight track. I'm feeling everything from the ground. Every little groove, bump, everything. This bike is definitely not nearly as comfortable at high speeds or confidence inspiring as the touring models. Do I think that it's a good bike? Yes. Do I think that you will enjoy it if you buy it for a certain purpose? Yes. It gives you some touring capability, i.e. you can carry stuff, gives you some unique wind blockage to a degree. If you commute on it to work in your 20-25 minutes or less, I think it'll be perfectly fine. If you're over 30 minutes of commute time and you do this as a commuter bike as well as a weekend bike, then I think it's going to wear you out, especially at the end of the day. I don't know. This very popular bike. For my riding style and needs, this would not be on the list of potential bikes. Is it good for what it's intended? I think so. Absolutely. Um, Plenty of power. Do I think that the power is significantly over the 114 as far as the experience of it? No, I don't. 117, 114 in this platform, I don't think you would really, you'd be hard pressed to notice a difference. And if you have a 114 and you're doing any upgrades to it whatsoever, yeah, that'll definitely dominate. Okay, here we go. Thank you, Thunder Mountain Harley Davidson.
Okay, folks, let's take a look at the beginning here with the engine. So the old 114 in the Lowrider S, there's no ST to compare it to, but the Lowrider S did 122 foot-pounds and 93 horsepower. The new 117 in the Lowrider S and the Lowrider ST is 125 foot-pounds, so a gain of 3 foot-pounds of torque, and 10 extra horsepower. Fuel economy is 1 mile per gallon better. And for comparison's sake to the other fairing models, the Lowrider ST comes in at 721 pounds. Now, although the torque and the horsepower come in at different points, do I think that it is a significant enough change from the 114? No, it's definitely progression is good, but this is very, very minor, and I would challenge anybody to truly be able to tell the difference. Now, I'm going to give you some things that I really liked and some things I not so much, okay? First of all, it's a great looking bike. I also like the side opening clamshell style bags for this. They're very tight to the bike, very in tune with the dynamic they're trying to create with it being a sport bike. It's enough room to be comfortable and get things around that you need to get around, but it's not out there. Now, the fairing on here works extremely good. It came in at a better performance than the Road Glide, not quite as good as the Street Glide. It did its job, did it well, it's stylish. There's room for lots of improvements on it for aftermarket stuff. I think they did really good with the fairing. The styling with the exhaust, the wheel colors, everything else, I think they knocked it out of the park. The problem is that I, on the other hand, don't think this is the sportiest way to go if you want a sport bike out of a Softail. The bike that I thought that handled much better than this, that is the best handling Softail to date, in my opinion, and I put thousands of miles on one of these, is the Fat Bob, which they no longer make. So that being said, that's gone, not an option anymore. This does a good job. Is it where a lot of reviewers make this bike out to be a long distance touring bike? Hell no. There is no possibility. This bike, although you can do anything on any bike, hell, I heard of a guy that went 1,000 miles on a Grom. Is it advisable? Is it comfortable? No. Will you catch me ever trying to do something like that? No. Can it be done? Sure. Sure, it can be done. Is it smart? No. These bikes are great around town commuters to and from work, maybe the next city over, or a weekend ride through the mountains, and you're able to take some gear. Is it a long distance road bike? It is not. People that buy this bike for that purpose are not going to be satisfied. Suspension setup on it is good. It's sporty enough. It's able to eat up the road enough. Is it the best at any particular thing? No, I really don't think so. I think this checks a lot of boxes, but it's not the king necessarily of anything. So I'm sure there's things you can do with it, with modifications and things like that, which all Harley owners, that's why we buy Harleys, is we like to make them our own. Sure, you can do a lot of things with this, but understand what it is that you're getting. Would this be a bike that's worth owning? Absolutely. Just again, make sure that you are targeting the right reasons for owning it. Hey guys, I hope that you really enjoyed the riding part of this and a little bit of insight. This is definitely a bike that is on that list of bikes that you must go out and ride just to experience for yourself. Whether you end up loving it or hating it, it's definitely something that you're going to talk about. So definitely get out there and give this bike a try. We got a lot more coming up. I'm going to try to get in as many of these bikes as we can of the 24 lineup before we go back to doing some amazing installs and product reviews. So I will see you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Please leave me a comment.